Hi, my name's Lynn Porter and I've been invited along here today to talk to you a little bit about something called ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder. So probably a good place to start is, what is it? Because that's quite a highfalutin name really, isn't it? Okay, so it is exactly what it says, attention deficit. The person concerned isn't able to pay attention, they can't concentrate, they can't complete the task that they're working on. And hyperactive is really what it says it is. Their activity levels are much higher than would normally be expected. So what kind of symptoms is that about? Because ADHD is different for every single person that has it. What does actually happen though is that they have a few symptoms in common, and this is how you get a diagnosis for ADHD. There are rating scales, one of which is called the Conners scale, which is a very common one, and they look for a significant number of behaviours or symptoms that are carried on over a period of time, for example 6 months, something like that. Now the three major symptoms that most people with ADHD have in common is impulsiveness. Now what that means is that they will suddenly act without any thought or consideration for what the consequences of those actions actually is. So very unpredictable, you can never tell what they're going to do next, and of course those kind of actions are going to get your child in an awful lot of trouble. The other thing that they have is a lack of attention. They really cannot focus themselves. They can't finish a task. They're constantly fidgeting. They're constantly, wondering what to do next. They're up and away and at it. So you've got that kind of hyperactive thing. So you've got the impulsivity. You've got the attention or lack of attention to detail, and you've also got this constantly on the go kind of activity. And these children and generally people with ADHD find it very difficult to unwind and to relax. It's a little bit, I describe it like being in a traffic tailback, and you're revved up to go at something like 120 miles an hour and your foot's flat down on the floor, but you ain't going anywhere because everything around you is at a standstill. And that's a little bit what it's like for somebody with ADHD. There is another condition which is called ADD, which is Attention Deficit Disorder, which is quite similar, but it's without the hyperactive, the constant fidgeting and the constant raring to go. And this condition is a little bit like, I suppose it's like when you go upstairs, and we've all done that, and you think, hang on a minute, what have I come up here for? Constantly forgetting things, constantly losing things, and again, really, really difficult to keep that focus and concentration on the task at hand. So what happens if you or your child score on these rating scales that would indicate that you have got this condition called ADHD? Well, you've got your diagnosis. Where do you go from there? Certainly in terms of education, and of course this is my background as an educational advisor and a teacher, and more recently a therapist with children with extreme behaviour problems, and a background of behavioural psychology. In education it sometimes gets a little bit easier because your child is then eligible to get some special educational support, and they get something called a statement for educational support, and this is a great relief for teachers as well, of course. It also means that they could actually get some medication, and this tends to be something along the lines of, I'm sure you've all heard of Ritalin, a group of medicines called methylphenidate hydrochloride, and of course they do actually have some side effects. Predominantly it affects their appetite, and it also affects their sleep patterns. There are alternative routes, and this is where I have become involved in developing programs that will actually support without any side effects and are all quite natural indeed. And the details of that you can link from my website, which is around here somewhere. So anybody wanting more information on a natural alternative to ADHD and how they can work with children, how children can learn and reach their potential with ADHD, please come on my website, which is www.hetwebsite.com, for more information. Thank you.